Welcome back to the Iron Palace every single Tuesday. Coach Ryan Milton, TeamFFLEX, coming to you right here to tell you about all things regarding your training, everything you need to know to be getting that iron and build a palace out of those gains. Please make sure you share it if you get anything out of it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, because this is just one of the awesome kick-ass series I got going every single week right here for you on this channel, all right? Today, what we're going to talk about is how to train for bikini. Bikini competitions and training and figuring all that out, knowing what to do is a tough business, all right? There's a lot of hype, there's a lot of junk, there's a lot of coaches saying a bunch of shit out there on the internet, frankly. So today, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to give you my experience, what I've done coaching bikini competitors for years, you know, from the amateurs, the NPC, to the IFBB pros, and everybody I've worked with between, that's done all kinds of different shows and whatever. Whether it's your first or your 25th, 26th damn show, I guarantee you, this video will be beneficial to you, all right? So let's dig into it first. What exactly are we talking about when we're talking about a bikini competition? We're talking about specifically the bikini division, but also exactly what they're looking for, right? So this is the common misconception where training always gets messed up. It's basically that coaches or competitors or whatever don't actually know the criteria of what the judges actually want to see. And so they start programming stuff, they start doing different weird training programs and certain exercises, all sorts of other shit that just basically doesn't actually suit you. Okay? And so with that, we got to figure out, all right, what exactly needs to be done? Well, the judges in this division are looking for a couple things. All right? They're looking for a foundation of muscle. You got to have a good muscle base, otherwise you're not going to do good as a bikini competitor. Then you got to have shape, symmetry, and proportion. Okay? And this is mainly looking at upper to lower body balance. They want to see you be symmetrical. They want to see that muscle being symmetrical. And then lastly, looking at conditioning, okay? So these are the things you can train for. And then there's obviously the presentation, the posing, which is a huge, huge part of everything, because it doesn't matter how good the physique is if you don't know how to do that presentation, that pose, all right? So, when it comes to the training, we need to do, in other words, those three things. We need to build muscle and have the right muscle. Then we need to make sure we have the right symmetry, shape, and proportion, the right balance from upper to lower. And then we also need to get in the right spot for conditioning, okay? So depending on what part of your season is, ladies, you're going to want to cater this differently. In improvement season, which is what I call the off season, you'll hear a lot of coaches talk about off season. I've fucking been saying improvement season for years, because there is no damn off season if you compete. You got seasons where you're making gains, you're improving, and you got prep cycles, okay? So for this, the improvement season, that should be geared mainly towards that muscle build. Mainly towards getting that shape and that size, and then working that symmetry, okay? So that's really what you'd be doing in an improvement season. You're not so much focused on the conditioning, because that's actually what we're going to do when we prep, all right? So with that, you got to know each phase has a purpose, and you got to have a specific goal. So you need to actually look at your physique from a standpoint of assessing it from like what a judge's eye would be, okay? And this is a huge benefit if you have a coach that knows what they're doing. For me, for example, when I coach anybody that wants to do a bikini competition, whether it be a beginner for a show, somebody who's been doing some regional shows for a while, or the pros, I say, all right, first thing we're going to do, I need to see what you look like. I'm not going to build any programs until I know what I'm looking at. So I do a physique assessment. All right, and if you have a coach that can do this and actually knows the criteria, great. Make sure your coach actually knows that damn criteria, though. Because a lot of them don't, and a lot of them are going off of just random shit, basically, which at the end of the day is not going to serve you. So anyway, I'm looking at these competitors and saying, all right, let me see you in pose. A front, a side, and a back pose. If they're seasoned competitors, they've done it before, I have them send me a posing video. If they're beginners, I'm just looking at a front, side, and back. normal standing physique shot, basically. I'm trying to see where this person is currently, all right? Like, what's their shoulder development at? Where are we at in the midsection? What are we doing down here at the legs? What are we looking at? And then how are we going to get that, wherever they're at, better so that they can get to the stage and do well? How can you get to your first show and win your class? How can you get to nationals and get your pro card? How can you get your pro show and get top 5 or win it? You got to look at the physique on an individual basis, and you got to assess it, all right? So you got to know exactly what you need to bring up, maybe what you need to take down, what needs to be here, what your strong points are, what your weak points are, and how we're going to use this training phase, whatever it may be, to improve that. And so with that, if you do it correctly, you're going to get great results. Because if we target something, if we build a training program that's going to target these areas, it's for sure going to bring them to where we want it to be. And again, a huge value add if you have a coach that knows what they're doing. A lot of competitors try to do self-coaching these days. Doesn't work. Very hard to do. Very, very hard to do. You have to be at an extremely high level, dedicated much, like crazy amounts of time if you want to self-coach. And you're going to have to do it for years and years before you're going to get proficient enough to know how to really advance yourself, get to the pro leagues, do all that, okay? It can be done, it's very hard to do. I strongly suggest you get a coach, but you got to make sure you get a coach that knows what they're doing. There is a reason that even the top pros have coaches. Okay? When you are an athlete and you want to perform your best, you have a coach so you don't have to second guess everything you're doing. You have somebody that keeps you on track, going to keep you accountable, going to get you the right programming so that you as an athlete can bring your best intensity to that programming. When you have to think and you have to guess and you have to wonder and you have to build all these things, it distracts you from being the athlete that actually just goes to work and gets the result, right? So, you need to have a coach that knows what they're doing. You got to have a coach that knows the criteria of the division. A lot of coaches suck at this right now. I'm sorry to say it, but a lot of them do. A lot of coaches these days in the competition space are one-timer competitions. So they did one show, and now they are declaring they are selling plans. They're a coach. They're going to do this and that, and basically they're going to regurgitate you the same program that they did, same one they got from a coach or whatever that got them wherever they were. But in reality, doesn't work this way, ladies. It works only if it's custom to you. So you got to know exactly that you're getting a coach that knows the criteria, is going to be able to fit you to your actual division, which is bikini in this case, and also that they're going to make it custom to you, right? And so this is what we do at TeamFFLEX.com. If you go there right now, I'll show you how to do this. This is free trial. We offer it. We just want to give you a value add. Me or one of my kick-ass coaches will get you set up and show you how this looks, okay? And this is free. There's no obligation. If you don't do this and you're serious about competing in bikini, you're absolutely crazy. TeamFFLEX.com right now. Try it out, all right? Point is, if you don't have the custom approach, you're not going to get a great physique. And if you don't have a coach that knows how to fit you to the category, you're going to have an even bigger problem. Because at the end of the day, you're going to show up and not fit in, and you're going to have wasted all this time, all this money, all the money on the suit, all the money on the coach, all the money on the heels, the jewelry, the tans, the makeup, the hair, the show registration, the membership. You're going to spend all this damn money and not get the placing you deserve, because basically you were set for failure from the very beginning. So avoid that, ladies. Avoid it. You got to get a coach that's qualified. You got to get somebody that knows what they're doing. They know the criteria of the division, and they're going to build it custom for you. Do not get a program from an inexperienced coach or somebody that has, regurgitative qualities. We're going to give you the same thing they're giving everybody or the same thing they did. It just will not work. Do not look to your favorite fitness pros and things like that for programming. Look to the coaches. Look to the people that spend their time coaching, and it will save you so much time, so much money, and you're going to get the result, okay? Anyway, the point of this whole video, I kind of want to cap what that was, the whole idea of what you got to have in the first place, and now here's the actual programming. So, ladies, I'm going to give you my suggestion, a starting point, okay? This is just a starting point. Will not work forever. don't think it will, and it's also not custom to you. I'm going to give you an idea of a training split, okay? I'm going to give you something that I give most bikini competitors in the sense of a split, what it could look like, what you might like to try if you're a beginner, if you're advanced, whatever, you know, you can look at this from a perspective of, okay, it's some more information, it's something valuable, I can get a better idea of what, you know, a successful coach is doing, since I have tons of top placing competitors and pros all around. This is a good place to start. It is not the end all be all. Please do not message me and say, no, I've been doing this program for 8 weeks and it's not working. I'm going to give you a split idea with a couple exercises. I'm not giving you a real program. If you want a real program, go to TeamFFLEX.com and we'll show you how to do this. But for the sense of this video, here's what I suggest for a bikini competitor, okay? Common mistakes. First things first, common mistakes. Bikini competitors train too damn much. They literally spend so much time thinking they need to be training their glutes, or they need to be working their shoulders, or they need to be doing this and that. They're training 6, 7 days a week sometimes multiple times a day doing cardio and weights and all this. And in reality, ladies, it is not intuitive at all for you to be doing that. It's not going to put you forward, in other words. It's not going to get you a better physique. You're not going to get there faster. You're actually being a detriment to your training if you're doing all that work. Because in reality, no matter what we're doing, no matter who we are, when we go to the gym, we are breaking things down, right? We're breaking down muscle tissues, and then they got to rebuild. They got to grow. And they don't do that when they're being trained. Every time you train, you inhibit the growth process, okay? So you need to allow time for the body to recover, time for the muscles to grow, time for you to attain that shape that you need for bikini. If you don't do this, you're going to mess it up. So how do you train? How do you do it, right? You got to go in the gym with a specific plan of attack and go at maximal intensity, really challenge the body, and get the hell out of there and let your body recover. This is how you will get the best physique. This is how you get the best physique as an amateur or as a pro. You got to train hard in the right way that fits your physique and recover. And then you will get there, okay? That's it. So here's the split, right? Here's the split I suggest for starters, for most people, 4 days a week. 4 to 5 days a week, okay? Take notes. 4 to 5 days a week, you're doing a split like this in one way or another. You can mix it up. Obviously, I do different stuff for everybody. It's all custom when I coach it, but this is a general sense, okay? So I'd say on a Monday, you start with an upper body day, okay? So you roll out of the weekend. Monday's your first training day. You start with an upper body day. And you can dedicate this day to something like back and biceps, okay? So in reality, it's a very heavy focus on the back with secondary bicep. You're already getting a lot of bicep work as it is because we're doing back, but now we can focus a little bit here. Bikini competitors do not need crazy muscular development in the arms. However, they do need to have shape in the back, even though you're going to leave your hair down when you compete and they're not going to judge you on muscularity. You need it for the shape. You need it for that hourglass figure to tie in and, you know, really complete your physique. So you have to train back, bikini competitors. You train a little bit of arms because you want them to show some, you know, a little bit of size, a little bit of definition, but not crazy. You don't need to be super developed for this. This is bikini. So on your back day, I suggest things, you know, like pull downs, pull-ups, behind the neck pull downs, different variances of rows, single arm rows. Not a lot of barbell work. I don't suggest a ton of barbell work for most people. If I do, it's for a specific reason for that athlete. But a lot of barbell work, you know, or machine work, it kind of just puts you into a spot where you're not going to get a lot of variability. And, you know, since this whole division is literally balanced, bodybuilding is balanced, period, from upper to lower, from side to side. That's what they're always looking at, shape, symmetry, size, proportion. When you do a barbell, if you compensate, or if you do a machine, you compensate. Let's say you pull harder with the right side versus the left, you're going to get uneven. You're going to have an uneven level of development. You're going to have different issues. So a lot of times I'm not putting a ton of barbell work when it comes to this type of stuff because it can be, you know, counterintuitive to what we're trying to do. So in reality, a lot of dumbbell stuff, single arm rows, you know, we're looking at dumbbell bent over rows, doubles, maybe some close grip rows on a cable machine, different stuff like this, okay? This is what you do. And then for biceps, basic stuff, curls, you know, your dumbbell curls, maybe a little machine preacher curl, something like that. Not a ton. I'd suggest, you know, 4, 5, 6 different back exercises. Depends on the athlete, and then 1 or 2 bicep specific stuff. And that's it. Monday's done. You shouldn't be in there more than an hour 15 max if you're taking your time. And then, you're rolling into Tuesday being a lower body day. So on a Tuesday, I suggest a glute emphasis. Glute hamstring, posterior chain emphasis, all right? Obviously, huge factor, bikini. You are going to be doing a back pose where you are judged pretty hard on, you need to show the right shape from the upper body to the lower body. You got to show the glute roundness. You got to show development in the hamstrings. You want to show a tight glute ham tie, not like overdone, not showing through, but actually just a flattened, tight. You don't want it to be holding body fat, in other words, and be visibly body fat on stage. That will hurt your placings. So you want to make sure you get the right glute development, the right glute roundness that rolls into the legs. We'll talk about the legs in a minute. This day I would emphasize on the glutes, the hamstrings. Okay, so this is your lower body day to focus on glutes and hamstrings. You got to lift in some specific lifts here. I'd suggest things for sure. You shouldn't do any of these days like a glute day without some hip thrusts. Bottom line, hip thrusts are the bikini building exercise these days. Hip thrusts are great for building the glutes. You can really level those up. I suggest a variance of reps. You know what I mean? Do some high reps, do some low reps, really challenge yourself, focus on the tempos, focus on the pause reps, everything you need. Again, it makes all this really easy. If you have a program, you can fall by a qualified coach. If you want one, go to TeamFFLEX.com right now and try it for free. But basically, glute bridges, we're talking about your deadlifts now, some sumo deadlifts maybe, single leg deadlifts, stiff leg deadlifts, different variances of things that are going to target the glutes. Kickbacks, if you got the kickback machine. You could also do kickbacks on a leg extension machine if you don't have one. Things like GHD, glute ham raise, all that is super good for building the glutes, super good for overall lower body development and, building the roundness, building the shape, bringing that ham tie through, everything you need to do to really have a great posterior chain for bikini. Okay, so, we're looking at 6, 7, 8, 10 exercises on that day. It's got to be targeted for your physique. Make sure you know what you're doing with those. Different tempos, different reps, things like that are going to be important here. Wednesday. This I suggest is your recovery day or an active recovery day. So basically you either take the whole day off depending on where your physique is, or you go do some cardio. You might do a little bit of ab work, not a lot, but a little bit maybe. Cardio, be active, go take a fucking walk, a hike, I don't know what you want to do. It's an active rest day. That's what I suggest most of the time for most people because that is what most people need. They need the time to recover. They just did an upper and a lower. It's a good recovery right now. If we take the Wednesday and we come back Thursday, and guess what we're doing now? Another upper body day. Now this upper body day, I would suggest to be more shoulder specific, a little bit of tricep work, okay? So we did back and bi earlier in the week. Now we're going to focus on the shoulder and the tri. And basically the shoulders and the way they tie into bikini, it's super important because that actually is what brings the hourglass through, right? Well-developed glutes shape here, well-developed shoulder shape here. That's when we get this hourglass going. That's the hourglass shape they want to see in bikini. You're going to get that in the front pose. Great shoulder presentation will shape your physique well to match your glutes on the opposite side. And in the back pose, obviously straight up hourglass. You need to have the shoulder development. This is important to bikini. You have to have these shoulders developed. To what level? It's different for everybody, but you got to have the development. You don't need a huge round shoulder caps that are leaning striated. You'll get scored down for those, but you got to have shape. All right. And so how you get the shape is you got to train them damn shoulders, right? So we're talking about things like presses, Arnold presses, where you're starting here, you're bringing it through, some shoulder dumbbell presses, overhead presses, upright rows, lateral raises, front raises, reverse flies, a lot of different raises, right? That's really how we bring the caps through. A lot of lateral head work, maybe on a bench, sideways, raising it up, different cable stuff. And that's going to be huge, okay? You got to do a variance of reps, different techniques, pause reps. The shoulders are hard to build for a lot of people, so it's very important that you follow a good program when you do this stuff. Otherwise, you just be banging out reps, and you might even injure yourself, and you're not going to get the development you want. But it is important, okay? So you got to make sure that you are training the shoulders, and you're really bringing them through. And then the triceps, very little work here needs to be done. Again, it's not a huge scoring factor, but it does help the arms hold the shape, a little bit of definition. So what you want to do is different arm exercises for the tricep, like rope push downs, skull crushers, dumbbell kickbacks, things like this. Again, you don't need a ton of them. So I suggest, 4, 5, 6 different shoulder exercises and 1 or 2 tricep exercises depending on your physique. That's going to kind of wrap up our Thursday. Rolling now into Friday, all right? So we're on day 4 for the training week for most people. What I suggest, Friday is going to be your lower body day, and this is again where now we're going to focus on the opposite side of the body, the anterior side of the body. The quads, for the most part, are what we're looking at. The quads is just overall leg development here. Obviously, you're going to hit some glutes and some hamstring in this day, but it's not the emphasis. The emphasis should be the quadriceps, so this is the day you're going to do things like squats. You could be doing barbell squats, goblet squats, different squats, hack squats. We're talking about lunges. We're talking about leg extensions. We're talking about very quad-focused work here to bring that shape through. And the quads are actually important in a lot of ways. Why you don't want to show any cuts, okay? Because if you show cuts, you're getting scored down. You do want to show that shape, size, and the symmetry to the upper body. So in the front pose, it's going to be important that you show the line. It's going to be the side of the leg line, and it's going to be important that you show the size that matches the shoulders into the waist and all that. And from the back pose, you do want to see a little bit of quad coming through in the back pose. So all this stuff is very important for building it up. You got to have well-developed legs to compete in bikini, period. You need to have these things, right? And so with that, you want to train these quads to match that to wherever you're at. And, obviously you're going to get some work in the glute, the hamstring, like I said, but it's not our emphasis on this day. So realistically, you're looking at, 5, 6, 7, 8 different quadricep focused type leg exercises. You might wrap in a little extra glute work on this day if you have, you need to really bring the glutes up. You might rope in a few extra exercises in there. Or you might just focus some of your main sets in there. It's different for everybody, like I said. And then that caps our week off for most people, okay? So 4 days a week, upper, lower, rest day in the middle. Now, right away you might say, okay, is that really enough? And I'll tell you straight up, it might not be. You might need a 5th day. So what I would do is, if you did need one, hopefully your coach can figure this out for you, or if you go to TeamFFLEX.com, I'll do it for you. But basically a 5th day would be a physique-specific day. All right, so this might happen on a Saturday, it might be on a Wednesday, depends on the person's schedule, but this is a physique-specific day. I call it the Strong Points Day. And realistically, what the Strong Points Day is dedicated towards, for me and my coaching, it's taking your weaker areas, right, the areas that need to be brought up, and making them strong points. And so that's the whole kind of emphasis behind it, the whole goal. And in reality, that's what I would suggest. So you focus on, maybe you need some more shoulders, maybe your shoulders are really lacking, maybe your glutes are. You kind of hit everything, you hit whatever needs to be hit again, and then you recover on a Sunday. All right, so either way, you're looking at 2 to 3 days of recovery a week, and 4 to 5 training days where you're going to be hitting it hard, trying to attain this look, trying to attain this physique. Right out the gate, I know most of you ladies sitting here watching still are like, whoa, what about the ab work, coach, right? Where's the ab work? You don't need a ton of ab work in bikini. If you do too much ab work, you're going to square out your physique, right? The more we build the obliques, the more we build the rectus abdominis, all these different ab muscles, we're actually widening out the physique. So what you want to do is only do very few ab exercises, honestly. For most people, it's different. I do have people that do good amount of ab work. Depends on the physique and what they're trying to attain. This is why I said for the 18th time it's important to have a coach. But the point is, I recommend this to everybody, vacuums. All right, if you don't know what a vacuum is, it's a great exercise where basically you draw on your stomach, you're letting the air out of your body, and you really focus on the intrinsic abdominal muscles, the rectus abdominis, the transverse abdominis, in other words, the weight belt, the inner weight belt that you have in your body. This helps you draw that that waist in, which is important in literally every division you compete in. So every competitor should be doing it, but it's great in bikini because it helps you hold a nice hourglass in the front pose and everything else, and it looks great if you can do it well and you know how to breathe through your chest more than your stomach on stage. When you start getting tired, it makes a huge difference in your placing, and it's really just going to help you bring through that physique. It also is very good for your overall midsection health. It strengthens your back up. It makes sure that you're not training bad. It assists you in good posture. It does a lot for you, so it's very important stuff. That's one thing I suggest. Other than that, maybe a little bit of crunch work, a little bit of this and that. You're not getting scored on your abs in bikini. They're not looking at your six-pack and saying, oh, this girl has abs versus that one. It'll help or it'll hurt you depending on where you're at. A lot of girls get too lean in their abs and actually end up scoring down. And so when you show a visible six-pack, it's either going to, it's not required, so it's either going to assist you or it's going to hurt you. And in reality, you don't need to focus too much on it. What you need to really focus on is that hourglass shape and developing the right muscle and the right proportion. Now, conditioning would be the last thing. We talked about building this out. How do you build it? How do you get the conditioning, right? And so the conditioning for me comes from the nutrition. And that's what I have everybody do. I try to avoid loading competitors with cardio. I try to do as little cardio as we can get away with to get somebody to stage. Obviously, everybody's different. Some people require more. Some people can go up to an hour a day. Some people do 10 minutes. Some people do 0. I've had people, do all variances of this and win their shows, do great at their shows. And in reality, it's got to be custom for you. But basically, try to do as minimal cardio as you can and really focus on the nutrition side of things to lean out the physique. If you built a good muscle base and if you're now at a good spot with your calories, your metabolism's firing up because maybe you did a reverse diet, you got higher calories than normal. Now we're going to drop your calories down, and in reality, you should lean out pretty quick. You'll be able to hold good muscle, good shape, get to the right level of conditioning. What is the right level of conditioning, right? It's generally a softer look. It is conditioned, but it's softer. You don't want to show muscle cuts, in other words, right? If you show striations in your delt, you're getting scored down. You show too lean of the abs, you're getting scored down. You show quad cuts, you're getting scored down. So it's a softer, lean look for bikini. You want to be at the right level, no doubt. You don't want to come in too soft, but if you come in too hard, you're going to score wrong too. Again, very good reason to have a coach. Really good reason to have somebody that knows what the divisions are looking for, what the judges want to see, because that way your training and all that can be catered towards it. And so in reality, you shouldn't be doing a lot of cardio in the improvement season at all, and just a little bit for your overall health maybe. And when you're going in comp mode, you might add some cardio in, but in reality, you can do a lot with the nutrition and especially how you influence the training. Supersets, drop sets, other high-intensity training protocols. You can get that heart rate up, still be training with the weights, avoid the damn treadmill, avoid the elliptical, the Stairmaster, and get great results coming to your show. Win your first show, win your pro show, win all your different shows doing this type of training. And so this is what I suggest for most people. Hopefully you got something out of this video today. Again, if you want extra help, go to TeamFFLEX.com, and me or one of my kick-ass coaches will get you set up on our free trial. It's totally free. So if you're looking for some world-class coaching for free, that's the place to go. TeamFFLEX.com will get you set up. And, basically, I hope you got something out of this video. That's the whole goal behind it. Please share it if you did, because that's why I do these. I just want to help more people. And, it's likely if it helped you, it'll help somebody else, and that's how we get it done. So please subscribe, share, and I'll be back every single Tuesday right here on the Iron Palace to teach you how to build a palace out of those gains. My name is Ryan Milton. I'm with TeamFFLEX, and Coach Rye is out.